In this video, we're looking at the future value of an ordinary annuity. So an example of this would be, in fact, I am retired from the United States Navy. I spent 20 years in the service, so I get a monthly pension that's like an annuity. So since we're talking about yearly figures here, let's just say for the sake of argument that my pension is equal to $25,000 a year, and so we're going to trying to figure out, or we are going to figure out with this payment, what is the future value of the annuity going to be after a certain amount of years with different rates of return. Now, if I just take my pension and put it in a regular savings account that earns a very low interest rate, this is 1/10 of 1%, which is probably about what you get now in a savings account, and I put that and I put those payments in that account for 5 years, I'm just going to get a little bit more than just 5 times the amount. And then if I just, if I kept it in longer, it would just be, just a little bit more than 10 times the amount. Even if I kept it in for a really long time, because of the low rate of return, it's not going to be a lot more than 30 times the payment, because 30 times the 25,000 would be 750,000. So you can see, with this low rate of return, I've only earned $1,089 over 30 years. Now compare that to if I put it into some type of fund that had a rate of return of 3%. You see, and then after 30 years, I would have over $1 million. So you see, it's a huge difference. And with a high return, if I just put in, if we just jumped it up to 5% return, if I put in 25,000 right here for 30 years, you can see how much more it would be. You would get 500,000 more roughly. So over 30 years. So it depends on how long, because if we drop this back to 20 years, if you just play with that a little bit, you can see how much a difference those extra 10 years makes. Going from 20 to 30, you go from 800,000 to 1.6 million. So you see those 10 years, and believe me, guys, 10 years goes by quick. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about your long-term investments. So this is sort of fun to play with your payments and your rates of return in your years. Just once again, make sure that in the bottom table down here, you put in the correct numbers from the problem. And I believe when you first put this in, let me just try this out. When you first put this in, if I just put in a 3, it's going to give me, 3 there, of course, but I mean for the annual interest rate. Whoops, sorry about that. Put in 3 and just see what happens. Okay, so you want to drop that back. So you want to go delete, and that's going to be, so you want to make sure it's 3%, right? And then this should be what, 5, right? Okay, so 5 here, and then your numbers. So yeah, so just make sure you put the correct numbers in down here, and you should get the correct answers in the formula cells right here. Okay.